In a world filled with turmoil and hardship, how can we find true happiness and peace? Everywhere we look, there's a relentless search for fulfillment, an insatiable craving for contentment that seems just out of reach. Yet amidst this quest, there is a timeless beacon of hope that has illuminated the path for thousands of years, the Beatitudes. These ancient teachings, spoken by Jesus, offer us not just fleeting moments of joy, but a blueprint for truly blessed living in today's frantic and often unforgiving world. Did you know the word beatitude originates from a Latin term meaning happiness or blessedness? This fact alone draws a direct line between these sacred texts and our own well-being. To bring this closer to heart, consider the story of an individual whose life was steeped in struggle and uncertainty. Yet through embracing the principles of the Beatitudes, they experienced a profound transformation. It wasn't wealth or success that brought them true satisfaction, but the simple yet powerful act of aligning their life with these 8 declarations of blessedness. As we delve into the heart of the Beatitudes, we begin by exploring an often overlooked virtue in today's fast-paced world: humility. Imagine walking through life with the belief that you have nothing to prove, no status to achieve, and no material wealth to guard jealously. This is the essence of the first Beatitude. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Consider the story of a man who lived in a small village, known not for his riches or accolades, but for his quiet service and unassuming presence. Though he had little in the way of material possessions, his impact on those around him was profound. The villagers, though accustomed to measuring success in tangible terms, could not help but notice how this humble man's life seemed to overflow with peace and purpose, qualities they yearned for in their own lives. By embracing spiritual poverty, this man showed his community that the true richness of life doesn't come from what we acquire, but from what we give away. In laying down the burdens of pride and self-importance, we open our hands to receive the fullness of joy that comes with seeking a deeper connection to the divine. The kingdom of heaven, then, is not a distant realm, but a present reality available to us when we choose to live with uncluttered hearts and minds, recognizing our need for something greater than ourselves, something sacred that fills our lives with meaning beyond the material. In applying the wisdom of the first Beatitude to our contemporary context, we find a counterintuitive truth, that in acknowledging our own spiritual bankruptcy, we are actually taking the first step towards a life marked by true contentment and spiritual abundance. In a world that often insists on the avoidance of pain and the pursuit of pleasure, the second Beatitude calls us to a poignant realization. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. At face value, this teaching appears counterintuitive, yet it invites us into a deeper experience of compassion and solidarity with those who suffer. Take, for example, the story of a woman whose life was shattered by loss. When she felt most broken, isolated in her grief, it was the gentle presence of her community that brought solace to her aching heart. Their willingness to sit with her in mourning, to listen, and share in the weight of sorrow became the very avenue through which comfort flowed into her life. It is in these moments of vulnerability that we discover the strength of shared humanity. To mourn with others is not simply to acknowledge their pain, but to bear it with them, forging bonds that transcend our individual struggles. Through such acts of communal mourning, we come to recognize that comfort is not a solitary endeavor, but a collective offering. It is as if the divine compassion itself wraps around us, assuring us that we are not alone in our darkest hours. Herein lies a profound truth, that through embracing the full spectrum of human emotion, from joy to despair, we are drawn closer to the heart of the divine, to the promise of consolation that outlasts every season of grief. In considering the Beatitude on meekness, blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth, we unearth a paradox that stands in stark contrast to our society's norms. This teaching challenges us to reevaluate strength through the lens of gentleness and control. In our assertive, self-promoting culture, the concept of meekness often carries an unjust stigma of weakness or passivity. Yet, could it be that this quiet strength is indeed what we need to heal a world so torn by aggression and dominance? Reflect on this. How can meekness be a source of power in our lives? The answer may not be as elusive as we think. History is rich with examples of individuals who embodied the virtue of meekness and, against all odds, brought about transformative change. Consider the gentle tenacity of figures like Mahatma Gandhi or Mother Teresa, who, without force of arms, but through the sheer force of their convictions, moved mountains and left an indelible mark on the conscience of humanity. These exceptional lives pose a thought-provoking question for each of us. Can we find moments when choosing gentleness over force has yielded surprising results? Have you ever experienced an instance where a soft word turned away wrath, or a patient response diffused a potentially volatile situation? I invite you, our viewers, to participate in this exploration of meekness. Share with us your stories where embodying this beatitude opened unexpected paths or created ripples of positive change in your life or the lives of others. Your experiences can become a wellspring of encouragement for many who watch this channel, illuminating the path to inheriting the earth, not with dominion, but with peace and grace. As we turn our gaze upon the fourth beatitude, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Here lies an invitation to a deep and persistent craving for justice and integrity, both in our personal conduct and within society at large. This yearning for righteousness is not a mere wish for moral superiority, but a fundamental aspect of our spiritual journey that resonates with our intrinsic desire for things to be as they ought to be, right and true. In this pursuit, we are often confronted with the complexities of ethical dilemmas and social injustices that make it challenging to discern the right course of action. Yet, the promise of this beatitude is that those who earnestly seek righteousness will be satisfied, suggesting that there is divine support for those who commit to this quest. The relevance of such a quest is undisputed in an era where issues of fairness and equity are at the forefront of public discourse. Individuals across the globe are advocating for numerous causes, from environmental stewardship to economic equality, each reflecting a collective hunger for a more righteous world. By engaging with current events and relating them to this biblical principle, we prompt both introspection and action. Consider how the Beatitudes can lead us to reflect on our lifestyle choices and daily interactions. Are we contributing to the betterment of our communities? Do our choices reflect a thirst for justice that extends beyond our own benefit to the welfare of others? To illustrate this, let's visualize a scale representing personal integrity and societal justice. On one side, we place acts that demonstrate a commitment to doing what is right for its own sake. On the other, we weigh our efforts to address systemic wrongs, to balance the scales in favor of fairness and equity. It becomes clear that true fulfillment arrives not just through individual purity, but through active participation in the transformation of the world around us. For righteousness is not a passive state. It is dynamic and alive, demanding our engagement and dedication. And as we endeavor to live out this beatitude, we find ourselves walking a path that is not only personally fulfilling, but also beneficial to the community at large, building a legacy that echoes the eternal promise, they will be filled. As we draw this exploration to a close, it is clear that the Beatitudes offer much more than ancient wisdom. They are profound insights that challenge us to rethink our values and approach to life. We are invited to embrace humility, compassion, meekness, and righteousness, qualities that may seem counterintuitive in a world that often rewards the opposite. Yet by living out these principles, we unlock a form of happiness that is deep, enduring, and aligned with our spiritual purpose. Now, as you reflect on these teachings, consider how you might integrate the essence of the Beatitudes into your own journey. How might their transformative power uplift your path and those around you? Ponder this in the quiet moments of your life, and let the questions guide your steps toward a more blessed existence. Before we part ways, we encourage you to engage with us by sharing your thoughts. Which Beatitude speaks to you the most? And how do you see it playing a role in your life? Join the conversation in the comments below, where we can all grow together in understanding and application. If you haven't already, subscribe to Divine Light and share this video with someone who might be seeking the light of wisdom in their life. For those eager to delve further into these teachings, stay tuned for more content on each Beatitude that promises to enrich your spiritual walk, and consider joining our community discussions to connect with others on this journey. May the Beatitudes become a beacon in your pursuit of a truly blessed life. And until next time, keep seeking the divine light in all that you do.